What's up, guys? It's your boy. And guess what? I got it. Your boy got it. I went on a mission. I went all the way to Japan to get this for you guys, but I did it. I did it. Your boy has right here. It's secret. Don't fucking tell anybody. Right here. In this binder is the entire script and screenplay for the new Dragon Ball Super movie. I did it. Your boy did it. Are you proud of me? Right here. Everything we need to know about the movie. Where it's going, its direction, the villain. A lot of y'all were wrong. A lot of y'all guesses were wrong. We're going to look at it right here. First time on camera. 2018. Let's go. Let's see what's in here. Oh. Oh my god. I didn't see this coming. Goku won't be fighting Yamauchi. He won't be fighting Yamauchi. He won't be fighting a new villain at all. He'll be fighting someone beloved and someone we hold near and dear to all of our hearts. This is truly going to be a great movie. Goku, for the first time in Dragon Ball history, will square up with fucking Kermit the Frog. I can't take it. This movie's going to be amazing. We actually even have sneak peek exclusive footage for you guys. Roll the tape. So guys, obviously I have not been to Japan. I don't have the screenplay for the new Dragon Ball Super movie, but what I do have is a theory, speculation, that I feel like I want to get out there. So what this video actually will be is my own personal theory, speculation about where I actually think the Dragon Ball Super movie is going. So if you guys know, that very, very small 30-second trailer dropped about Dragon Ball Super, the movie, and we didn't see too much. We saw Goku warming up to fight what looked like a new villain in some icy area terrain. That's it. We got a close-up on his eye and his fist, and that's basically it. And we have to speculate from here. So with that small 30-second clip that was just released, my brain started going, and I think I have something rather interesting to tell you guys. And I can back it up with a little bit of fact. So stay tuned. I hope you guys enjoy my theory. I think I might be onto something, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. And let's go. Okay guys, so welcome to my Dragon Ball Super movie theory. So let's just get straight into it. This might be a bit of a long one, I don't know. But I kind of have a lot to unpack. Even just with the little 30-second clip, I think there's a lot to talk about, to discuss. So let's kick it off. Okay, so pretty much my goals for this video are just to fully explain my theory, provide evidence where I can to support my theory, and just speculate and get hype. So before we get into this, you know, obviously these are all my opinions. Nothing's fact, but I think speculation is really fun, and it's part of being a fan of something, and I find it really fun to go in and unpack details and try to see what we can gather and stuff. So I also want to answer the question, who is Goku's opponent and what will he bring to the franchise? So I'm already going to assume you guys have seen the Dragon Ball Super movie trailer. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave a link in the description, but go ahead and check that out and then come back to this theory. While you're at it, you might as well check out my Dragon Ball Super reaction video. I did a reaction to the trailer, so maybe you can watch it, watch the trailer, then watch my video reacting to it. Those were my initial thoughts about a couple weeks ago, and now I've had time to think about it, and now I have a whole new theory to unpack for you guys. You guys can see my entire train of thought. It's not mandatory that you watch that. You don't need to watch that previous video to understand this one, but it might let you guys know where I'm coming from. So the first question we want to ask when looking at this trailer is, who is this Saiyan? And this is the part of the theory where you guys have done a lot of the work for me already. If we look at all the shots when we see him, we don't actually have a lot. We just have a faraway shot. Goku's looking up at him. We can't really gather much from here. We have a close-up shot of his eye and of his fist and the side of his body. And that's it. Nothing too much. But we can gather some things from these shots. We can gather A, he has black hair. Seems pretty obvious, right? B, he has green or yellow eyes, kind of like a greenish yellow. And C, he powers up green, which is kind of important. Keep that in mind. What else can we gather? He has fur at his side, which doesn't necessarily mean much, but it's just something to note. And E, it looks like to me he's wearing a variation of the Saiyan chest plate and armband, something that we've seen Raditz and Nappa wear when they came to Earth. So it definitely looks like a variation of that. It's not exactly it, but it looks definitely like he's wearing Saiyan armor. What else can we gather? So we're looking at the trailer as a whole. One of the taglines is, "A Saiyan has no limits." A Saiyan has no limits. Okay, that's pretty interesting. That could obviously refer to Goku. You know, he is a Saiyan, and Dragon Ball Super is pretty much just his tale of getting stronger and breaking through barriers and becoming this unstoppable beast. So is this line, "A Saiyan has no limits," is that talking about Goku? I mean, if it was, that implies that Goku has no limits. So why should I watch this movie, right? If Goku has no limits, then he can't be beaten. And I don't think that that's the message they're trying to send. There's no suspense there. There are no stakes there. In a teaser that just claims Goku cannot be beaten, then why would I watch it? Why would I come to the theater and pay money to watch it? So I think it's very much referring to both Goku and his opponent here. It's kind of like got a double meaning right here. If these two characters are fighting and we have the tagline, "A Saiyan has no limits," then I think it might be pretty safe to say, with everything else we concluded, you know, the black hair, the eyes, the fur, which, like I said, isn't indicative of Saiyans in general, but Saiyans kind of have a tie to monkeys, so having fur could kind of indicate Saiyan quality, could have Saiyan qualities about him. So I think it's pretty safe to say that this guy is a Saiyan. I think that's a no-brainer. You know, the Saiyan has no limits line is definitely referring, I believe, to both of them, and that's what this movie is going to be about. It's going to be about these two characters, these two Saiyans, and their clash. And a Saiyan has no limits, so this is going to be probably a pretty legendary battle. Who's going to win? So you guys may be saying, "Hey, Urso, Saiyans are dead. What are you talking about? How is this a Saiyan?" Well, this movie was confirmed to take place after Dragon Ball Super. You know, the series that confirmed alternate universes, specifically universes that still have living Saiyans, like the Universe 6 squad. So with that ground rule laid out, anything is possible here. This is kind of headcanon, but it's very plausible that after the Tournament of Power arc, Goku realizes that there are still strong guys out there, and he asks Beerus to contact other gods to allow him to travel between universes to find new opponents. Is that likely? Who knows? At this point, you can't guess Dragon Ball anymore. It's starting to become its own crazy thing. So I could very much see this happening. You know, Goku just goes up to Beerus and says, "Hey, there's still strong guys. I want to fight other universal guys. I want to go to their territory." And maybe Beerus hooks it up somehow and allows it to happen. And it's only one time for this movie only, and that's the plot. So something that might support that is the fact that we're in this kind of like a new location. So this location could definitely be Earth, but it's not a location we see too often, especially in canon material. I don't think we've ever dealt with icy landscapes in Dragon Ball Z in the main series. The last time we really did was in the Android 13 movie, and then even before that, it was the World's Strongest movie. So those are two non-canon appearances that did take place in icy places. So this could probably either be following that same trend, or it could hint that maybe this is an alternate universe's world. Maybe this is a world, maybe this is Earth from a different time, or maybe it's a completely different planet with climate similar to Earth. Perhaps back in time? So why would I say back in time? Could this take place in the past? You know, if you can hop around through universes, is it possible to hop around through time? Well, I feel like a lot of speculators out there would support this claim because a lot of people online are already saying that this new Saiyan is Yamoshi. So if you guys don't know who Yamoshi is, I would suggest you guys go over to Geekdom 101's channel and check out his video, his couple of videos that he's done on the Saiyan Yamoshi. But I can give you a quick breakdown. So Yamoshi, this comes from the wiki. I'll just read straight off of it. He is a Saiyan who could transform into a Super Saiyan long before Goku could. After his death, he was only known as the Super Saiyan God. He was originally thought to be nothing more than a myth until Goku's transformation during his fight with Frieza. So what we can gather, Yamashi, he's essentially the original Super Saiyan. He's the man, the myth, and the legend. He wasn't actually named until Battle of Gods. Now, if I'm correct, it's this same legend that has persisted throughout all of Dragon Ball Z that just only recently came up again in Battle of Gods. Vegeta talks about him all the way back in the Saiyan saga. It's this same Super Saiyan that basically scared Frieza into destroying all the Saiyans. It's kind of implied. Some people might say it's Bardock, but it really depends on your view of canon, if that Bardock special is canon or not. I don't really consider it to be, since it was kind of its own spin-off thing and had its tie-in with the games Xenoverse 2. So I think that in the series, Yamoshi is definitely the Saiyan that scared the crap out of Frieza, and that's what made him destroy all the Saiyans to begin with. So reading off the wiki again, as a Super Saiyan, Yamoshi is a fierce fighter even for a Saiyan, which led to the legend of the Super Saiyan being, now check it out, destructive and violent. Now these are kind of important, keep those in mind. So for all intents and purposes, Yamoshi is pretty much the Avatar Wan of Dragon Ball. He's the original Super Saiyan, which could be kind of seen as the quintessential or the purest Saiyan. So my analogy, like Avatar 1, if you guys watch Legend of Korra, he had his own little two-parter where we explain how he becomes the first Avatar. So as the first Avatar, and Yamoshi in this case as the first Saiyan, you kind of take up this mantle of being the purest or the most in tune with what the job title describes. So I mean, Avatar 1 wasn't perfect, but he's basically the paragon of avatars. He's kind of, in my opinion, the perfect avatar. The same kind of logic might work with Yamoshi, He might be the purest Saiyan because he was able to achieve a legend of Super Saiyan that to this day is still talked about by Vegeta and other characters. So keeping that in mind, if somehow in this new movie Goku is fighting Yamoshi, an ancient Saiyan from 1,000 years ago, suddenly this icy setting isn't so strange. Like I said, they could be back in time. They could be maybe in pre-civilization Earth, or maybe pre-civilization alternate universe planet Vegeta. Who knows? I'm just looking at this landscape and just something about it isn't exactly saying Earth from the series that we know. So this is basically all kind of old news. This is me kind of reiterating the already growing idea that this Saiyan for this movie is Yamoshi. So if this is Yamoshi, where is this whole thing going? This is basically the part where my personal speculation begins and I try to put all the pieces together. So check it. My theory basically says a couple things. One, Yamoshi is the opponent of this film. We kind of already said that, right? So we can cross that off. Two, Yamoshi will have a new pure Saiyan transformation fit for a legend. And 3, Yamoshi's transformation will be a complete version of this legendary Super Saiyan transformation. Now I'll explain all these points in a little bit, but let's go into that second one. So new transformation. So just looking at how this guy is powering up, from what we've seen, this is 100% completely different from anything else we've seen in the series so far. I mean, just look at him. He's got a crazy look in his eye. He's got this insane, sadistic berserker eye, and he's powering up green. And so, like, wait a minute. This actually is pretty familiar. Bam! Broly. Did we forget about this guy? Broly pretty much invented the green aura thing. And we all know how batshit insane Broly is. He's basically the Dragon Ball Berserker from the get-go. He's always been around. So his whole green aura thing is actually something kind of interesting to look at. It's a signature not only of him, but of the legendary Super Saiyan transformation, as he only really powers up green when he goes into his legendary Super Saiyan form. So it's kind of associated with that transformation exactly. So keep in mind, Yamoshi is the first Super Saiyan. He created the legend that Vegeta believed came to fruition in the form of Broly in the movie. So when Vegeta was afraid and he thought Broly was a legendary Super Saiyan, Yamoshi created that legend to begin with. This is the same legend that scared Frieza into destroying the Saiyans. The Broly movie states that Broly is not the legendary Super Saiyan from the past, obviously. He's not 1,000 years old, but his transformation is the legendary Super Saiyan transformation. So if we put these pieces together, if this new opponent is Yamoshi, we have to assume that he can tap into this same legendary Super Saiyan power as Broly. So I said earlier that Yamoshi's transformation will be new, but this is just me saying that no, it's probably closer to legendary Super Saiyan. That's not really too new, right? But what if I told you that Broly's transformation, just like Goku's Super Saiyan God form from Battle of Gods, is incomplete? In specifically the Battle of God movie, Goku's transformation wasn't really his own. He was borrowing power from the other Saiyans and mixed with a little God Ki. It was this new transformation that was very incomplete and short-lived. It was temporary. So what if that was something similar to Broly's transformation, what we've seen so far? What if Broly was able to tap into the power, but it's not the complete mastered version of it? And I think that's where Yamoshi comes in. The sliding scale of regular Super Saiyan to pure legendary Super Saiyan. So we can put any character like Vegeta on one end as the regular Super Saiyan. And then we can go ahead and put this new character, who we believe to be this pure legendary Super Saiyan, on the other side. So it's kind of like a sliding scale. We can kind of throw Broly in a little closer to that side, not exactly in the middle, but a little closer to that side, but not quite there yet. And I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. Broly was like tapping into the power of the legendary Super Saiyan, but he wasn't quite there yet. There's something else that needs to be done there. And I think this new opponent for the movie will master it. So this pure legendary Super Saiyan, this transformation I believe will be raw, feral, and untapped. So this transformation will kind of resemble the Super Saiyan God transformation, but it will definitely be on par with Ultra Instinct Goku. It has to be, or else this movie's not going to be too interesting. So like I said earlier, since we know that the legendary Super Saiyan of myth was destructive and violent, I would expect this transformation to be even more of a berserker than Broly, even stronger than Broly. It taps into the savage, primal nature of Saiyans. And this will be the form that created the legend. So I don't know if you guys play Street Fighter a lot, but there's a character there named Nakali, who I think is kind of like a perfect kind of idea of what I'm thinking of. He's this like berserker character. He barely speaks English, and he just has flaming crazy red hair, and he's super strong and feral and just savage. Just a savage, feral character. And I think at the core of the Saiyans, I think that's kind of what it could be. So this transformation will kind of represent the pinnacle of Saiyan growth, since Goku has theoretically branched from the Super Saiyan transformation, and he's using God Ki now. So in a way to think about it, you know, Goku was progressing along the Saiyan path by going Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, all that stuff. But come Battle of Gods, when he starts tapping into God Ki and then into Super, he kind of starts branching off a little bit. So what about the other side? What is the pinnacle of Saiyan growth? So I think that's where Yamoshi comes in. I think that he's going to be the ultimate Saiyan. He's going to be the purest, strongest, legendary Super Saiyan. The path of the final Saiyan transformation versus the path of final God Ki transformation. And we can watch them just duke it out. So Goku's new Ultra Instinct kind of allows his body to move pretty much without any thought. Kind of like his primal instincts are kicking in. So you can kind of like reverse that and kind of turn that concept on its head, and we could kind of do the same thing for Yamoshi. So if Goku's utilizing Ultra Instinct, Yamoshi could be utilizing what I'm going to call Primal Instinct. He could utilize that in order to basically do the same thing as Ultra Instinct. He can be moving, and his base Primal Instincts are kicking in, and he's not thinking about moving his body, and he's just reacting like a savage dog, basically. And that's kind of what Saiyans are, like, when you think about it. So this fits with the berserker idea of the legendary Super Saiyan transformation and the pure kind of bestial nature of the Saiyans in general. So I even went ahead and came up with some possible name predictions just in the event that I'm anywhere near close with this theory. I just want to put it on record that I have some of these names already thought up. I'm just going to go down the list real quick. So we could call this Ultimate Super Saiyan or Pure Legendary Super Saiyan, since Broly was already the legendary Super Saiyan. We could call this Legendary Super Saiyan God, since he's kind of like the original, but I mean, he's not really using God Ki, so that one might not work too much. Here are some of my favorite ones. Primal Super Saiyan, I kind of like that. Super Saiyan Rage, which I think is kind of cool sounding. Alternatively, Super Saiyan Pure also sounds pretty good. Legendary God Saiyan. Super Saiyan Progenitor, which I think is a bit of a mouthful, but I kind of like the way that sounds. And the Ancestral Super Saiyan, which I think I don't know, I feel like that's the best one. I saved that one for last. I feel like that's the coolest sounding one, the Ancestral Super Saiyan. And it also kind of like lines up because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Yamoshi is a play on the Japanese word for bean sprouts. So that is kind of its own little pun, because it's kind of indicating that it's the beginning and things will sprout from it. So giving Yamoshi a transformation called Ancestral Super Saiyan, I feel like just goes in line with everything they've been doing so far. I'm also going to leave this link in the description, but during an interview, Toriyama had allegedly claimed that he had a story to tell with Yamoshi. So I'm wondering if this new story is the movie, if we're finally going to get into Yamoshi's story in this movie. It was hinted in Battle of Gods, and now we're actually going to do a lot more with the character. So I went ahead and thought of a counterpoint. You guys might say, hey Urso, Broly isn't canon at all. To which I would say, yeah, good point. Great point, actually. This whole entire theory kind of depends on the idea that Broly is canon, you know? And without Broly, it kind of falls apart. I'm not even gonna lie. So it seems as though the counterpoint basically debunks this entire theory. But wait, it's almost as though someone at Toei perhaps thought ahead? So let me introduce you to my girl, Kale. So for those who don't know, Kale is a Saiyan introduced in Dragon Ball Super, the most recent arc, the Tournament of Power arc. She's from Universe 6. She's from a different universe. And for all intents and purposes, she is a 100% canon version of Broly. Since Dragon Ball Super is the new canon, Kale is canon, Broly is not. And I want to stress that point. So why is Kale important? She's not, but she might be. and that's what I'm getting at. She introduces the concept of the legendary Super Saiyan to the series. I mean, technically Broly did, but I mean, as far as canon material goes, Kale introduces it in a canon way. She has all the same tendencies as Broly. She's literally Broly. I'm going to read a little bit from her wiki article and tell me if this sounds familiar, right? Originally, when accessing her Super Saiyan powers, Kale's personality becomes a polar opposite, similar to her film counterpart Broly. Shifting through her emotions while in her berserker state, she would become excessively violent and cocky, even sadistic, as shown from her smirking promise to kill her foe. As she would continue battling, her rage would only continue and grow, becoming more savage and merciless in her assaults. Yeah, that's Broly, 1 for 1. There's no deviation. So that kind of makes you think. Isn't it rather interesting that Kaba, another Saiyan from Universe 6, appeared in Dragon Ball Super episode 32, but Caulifla and Kale didn't appear until the most recent arc in episodes 88 and 89 respectively. So what does that tell us? You know, it's very possible that these characters were in development while the new Dragon Ball Super movie project was also. So what I kind of mean by that is that it's very possible that these characters were conceived pretty much around the same time that the Dragon Ball movie was still in the very early stages of development. Like, they were still coming up with the concept, with the ideas, with maybe the character designs and the plot, all that early stuff for the movie, when they started figuring out what they wanted to do, that could have been pretty much around the same time that Kale and Caulifla were created. So they introduced Kale as a way to preserve Broly and not canonize him, thus keeping him intact, but canonize literally everything else about him. You can literally replace Broly with Kale, and this theory still holds up. Like everything I've said so far about Broly, you can replace with Kale, and it's perfectly fine. So also, if you guys remember, Goku spars with Caulifla and Kale for a little bit during the Tournament of Power arc. Did this fight seem a little bit out of place? Think about everything I've said so far. This could explain the decision to have Goku fight them. They needed Goku to experience this canonically. I'm going to repeat that. They needed Goku to experience fighting the legendary Super Saiyan, because he, for all intents and purposes, hasn't done it yet because Broly doesn't exist. So now, since he's fought her, he and the viewers will have a fresh frame of reference when he faces Yamoshi in the upcoming movie. That's pretty much the only way I can think of explaining Kale's character. Like, other than that, she's kind of pointless. She just kind of takes up space. They could have created better characters, in my opinion. So it all kind of makes sense when you think that Kale's entire existence solely exists to canonize the legendary Super Saiyan transformation. So they basically made her a carbon copy of Broly, claim she's from another universe, but they bring the ideas of Broly into the canon world. Because there's no way in hell they could just come out and canonize Broly. There's too many inconsistencies with that movie to canonize Broly and say it's actually part of the series. So they had to create a new character. That's why Kale doesn't really do much in the series, and that's why she just randomly kind of fights Goku, and it's kind of like a sparring thing, and it just seemed like a bit of out of place in the entire series during the arc. Like I said, guys, that's kind of the only way I can explain Kale's existence as a character. So there you go. That's pretty much my entire brain dump on the subject, going off of not even 35 full seconds of footage. Sorry, I meant to keep this kind of shorter, but like I said, there's a lot to talk about. I basically spent like a minute recording. For every second of video for the teaser, I basically spent a minute recording footage. So real quick, let's go over the main points. Yamoshi, the legendary Super Saiyan from the myth, will appear as the opponent before Goku in this film. Goku will utilize some form of time travel / dimension hopping probably to meet and fight Yamoshi. And Yamoshi will display a new complete form of Broly / Kale's legendary Super Saiyan transformation, which I think will be primal and definitely, you know, maybe more controlled than Broly. So not as we see, his eyes don't go completely white, so he definitely looks like he's in control of the power, but I think it's definitely the same power as Broly and Kale. Oh yeah, kids, I have it right here. I met up, official word from Toriyama himself, I met up with him at a ramen bar, and we talked a lot about Dragon Ball, and he says Goku will attain Super Saiyan 5 in the new film, so not even God anymore, Super Saiyan 5, and it's going to be amazing. Hey, are you lying to my audience again? Oh shit! Get out of here. Jeez. I keep telling him that you guys aren't that dumb. Anyway, so what do you guys think? That was a lot to unpack, right? I'm only really going off of speculation and what they've given me. And I think I might be on to something. I don't know, guys. I kind of like this idea. At the end of the day, only time will tell. I can't know if I'm right until we get more information, until we get another trailer, until we get interviews with the producers or anything else I can grab on. But I will kind of keep this updated whenever we get new information to see if we're right or wrong. If I'm right, I called it here first. If I'm wrong, this will be great just to look back and just kind of laugh at. So I left my sources for all my information down at the bottom. A lot of the stuff just kind of came from the wiki, but I do have a couple sources that I pulled some information from. So you guys can check those out if you want to fact check me. Other than that, you guys can just comment below and tell me what you think about the theory and maybe where you think I was wrong, or maybe if you think this whole thing is pretty dumb and it's just a waste of time. I don't know. So stay tuned for more content like this, more thought pieces and brain dumps and theories and discussions and stuff like that. I got some more stuff coming your way. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one.